My story begins where most gangster stories end. The job was nothing special at all, not very demanding, but also not to be sneezed at. I'd been in the business for quite a while, and I had become careless. Too careless. Everyone knew my modus operandi, and eventually the dreaded day had come. The police were expecting me at the scene of the crime, and they convinced me, in a not very gentle way, that the party was going to continue somewhere else, and that it was going to last for a long, long time. Surprisingly enough, I hadn't been forgotten over the years. Sinclair, my old friend and mentor, knew I was going to need some help to get back into business, and was already waiting for me to help me with my brilliant comeback.
Good to see you, Matt. Things have changed in your absence. You have a lot of catching up to do.
No worries. Burglary's like riding a bike. You never forget how to do it. The only thing I need is a quiet, secluded place where I can prepare my comeback.
Get in. I think I know just a place for you. It's a perfect place to work undisturbed and get back into practice.
Can you give me a few tips as to where there's something going? I mean, have you maybe got a job for me? I'll surely be back in shape soon. What do you think? I felt that there was something Sinclair didn't want to talk about. That, of course, made the whole thing even more interesting for me.
What makes you think I got something on the go, huh?
Just a feeling. You know, if there's anything I can do for you. But it seemed to be something really big. Too big to put it into the hands of a jailbird, who, on top of it all, was completely out of practice.
I can't talk about it. I can only tell you this much: once we're finished, nothing will ever be the same again. Anyway, here we are. I'll give you a call tomorrow. Chill out and get a good night's sleep, all right?
Sinclair was right. The motel he had booked me into was a place any righteous man would only visit at gunpoint. Back in my room, speculations about Sinclair's big coup lulled me to sleep. I didn't know everything was going to become clear as quickly as the following morning. Yes, it definitely was a good feeling to be back in business. To feel the adrenaline running through my veins. Was that the reason why Sinclair wanted to tackle the Ministry of Light? No, that was too crazy to be true. But I stopped worrying about him to concentrate on painting my future in the color of money. Unfortunately, the future never turns out the way we picture it. My first jobs had worked smoothly. I was just about to cook myself a sumptuous meal when the doorbell rang. At first, I was annoyed about the disturbance. I hadn't got much sleep in the last couple of weeks, and anyway, well, I opened the door, and there she was. She was definitely one of the cutest birds I'd ever seen. In the beginning, she wasn't exactly talkative. She didn't want to let me in on who'd given her my name and address, nor... In the meantime, my chili was getting cold. In the end, she long-windedly let me in on the whole story. She wanted me to make a burglary, and not just any burglary, but a special, rather lucrative one.
It's about a so-called check card. It's kind of an entrance ticket.
And where can I find it?
It's in the Baron's mansion. The house is rather well guarded. I really don't know. I hope you know what you're getting into. Don't you want to think it over, Mr. Tucker?
She promised to get me a map of the mansion as quickly as possible. I wanted to see her again, so I agreed to help. Even though I didn't like the feel of the whole thing, we arranged to meet at the Brazil bar a week later. I was going to give the check card to her there. I was feeling a bit guilty when I turned up a few minutes late that night. That was inexcusable in this situation. But when I finally arrived at the bar, I didn't like what I saw. Daisy was being led away by the ministry's forces. A rare privilege. I was suddenly aware that I had got into something really big, which could easily get out of hand. But Matt Tucker won't have his dates canceled that easily. I decided to follow them. I followed them through the city, to the military base. That was their final destination. How did that all fit together? And which part did the check card play in this game? Without any doubt, it was the ace up my sleeve.
How can I ever thank you?
How about telling me the truth?
Come to the harbor with me, and you'll get the answers you need.
I was getting rather curious. What did she want to show me? There was only open sea out here.
A while ago, I took part in a secret project. Our mission was to save the world from the environmental influences that had gotten out of control. To do that, we had to put up a shield over the city.
But then she told me a secret organization, the Masters of the Light, had gotten hold of the protective technology and used it to put the city into eternal darkness.
One day, Dr. Jones, the leading scientist, didn't want to play along with them anymore. Nobody's seen him since. I've got to find Dr. Jones and destroy the damn machine. With or without his help, no matter what it takes. You hear a lot of talk on the streets, and that's how I came across your name and asked you to steal the check card for me. The card is our only chance to get into the Ministry of Light and find the Eclipse machine. But the Masters of the Light caught me at our meeting point before you could hand the card over to me.
I had to be hallucinating. There seemed to be a sharp division between day and night. So Daisy had been telling me the truth.
Matt, we've got to do something.
And what exactly?
We have to destroy the Eclipse machine. You've got the check card, right?
Yep. Our only chance was if we could switch the whole alarm system off at once. And the only way to do that is the local power station. We had to manipulate the power supply there and thus switch off the Ministry's alarm system for as long as possible. That was going to give me a couple of minutes to get into the Ministry before the power came back on. To tamper with the power supply, we needed prisms, which were very well guarded. It was going to be impossible to get them. Luckily, I knew where we could get the control prism. Come on, we have to get out of here.
But how?
I know the way, but I've got a question first. Who would want to cover the whole city in darkness?
Well, the answer is obvious, isn't it? There is only one economic branch that still is in the black. The electric bulb industry. But I'll promise you that I won't leave this place before I put an end to this.
Sequence activated. 5 minutes remaining until final destabilization of generators. I advise you to keep a safe distance. Farewell.
The energy set free will discharge in the periphery.
Which means?
The gradual demolition of the complex before the countdown is over. Oh no! It has started sooner than I thought. We have to get out of here, now!
Around us, tanks exploded and tubes erupted. We had to run for our lives.